Welcome into Titans Today. I am Tom Downey, and we're talking safeties on this video. Now, look, Tennessee's been linked to safeties throughout the offseason. Most of it has been speculative. There have been some interest. There was a report that Tennessee had a visit with Marcus May. That was mentioned again late last night by ESPN's Jeremy Fowler when mentioning the Marcus May signing with the Miami Dolphins, that Tennessee had interest earlier in the offseason. So maybe it's a little bit of a reach, maybe it's not. I wonder perhaps if Tennessee is still interested, if they are still open to adding safety help, because I think they should be. It doesn't have to be a superstar caliber player. It doesn't have to be the best safety out there. We'll get to who I think that is here in a little bit. But I look at where this Titans organization is at in the back end, and I get very nervous if one injury happens. So do you want to sign a safety? If you ran the Titans, would you add one? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Go ahead and sound off for me in the comment section of today's show. Reason why I mentioned it, while we'll go in depth on some targets here. I like Amani Hooker. I like Elijah Molden. I think there's some interchangeability, strong safety, free safety. We'll kind of label them like that. The depth makes me go, Shyheim Carter didn't play a lot, hasn't played a lot in his NFL career. Mike Brown went to my alma mater. He's not somebody you want playing real snaps. You're buying Matthew Jackson, who played a little bit. They have a UDFA and Keaton, Ellis. I don't think you're going to try to move one of your corners back there. So God forbid, knock on wood, Amani Hooker goes down, who hasn't played a full season in 3 years, by the way. Feels worth mentioning. He goes down. There's a really good starter you're missing. What if Elijah Molden goes down? I like his game a lot. He offers nickel back flex, can do some outside corner stuff. I think he's a really great chess piece in the back end, and I think he can be a good safety for Tennessee as well. But also, it's not like he's been a model of perfect health either. You look at your top two guys in the back end. Elijah Molden played 2 games in 2022. Played 15 last year. I'd be worried about someone going down again. So in a minute, we're going to break down some safety targets for the Titans. Bunch of different names in what is still, for being June, mid-June right now, there are some good players who are available in the safety market for the Tennessee Titans. So we'll break down some names here, and I want to hear from you guys first in the comment section. Name a safety who you guys want to sign. It'll be the pinned comment on this video, and you should know what that means by now. You've been subbed to us here at Chat Sports for a while. Ad might play on the YouTube side. Ignore it. Go vote and name a player you want to sign in free agency. The number one name, I think, pretty clearly is Justin Simmons. That would be an instant upgrade to what the Titans currently have in the safety room. I would argue Simmons is probably the best unsigned free agent. That's not to say that Simmons is the same guy he was at his absolute peak, at his absolute prime. The 5+ interceptions every single season guy. Justin Simmons was not necessarily a premier athlete in his time with Denver, but there was a run where he has never had fewer than 2 interceptions in his NFL career. He always gets multiple INTs. He led the NFL back in 2022. He was still a second-team All-Pro last season. Now, I don't think he should have been. I thought the play regressed a little bit, but that's okay. Still a good player. So, and he can do strong safety stuff, can do some free safety stuff, can be interchangeable, can do 2 high looks, can do split safety looks, can rotate the box if he needs to. So like him kind of more in the back end. He is going to be in his age 31. So he's going to turn 31 in November. That's okay. He's a good football player. He's a very good football player. And Simmons would be a huge addition for the Titans. The biggest thing you got to figure out, does the money and the role work for all the parties involved? Does Tennessee want a clear-cut starter and to pay Simmons as a clear-cut starter in the process, or are they looking more for someone that is willing to come in and be the number 3? I don't think Simmons wants to do that, knowing that number 3 role is going to be important for them. That's what you got to figure out between Simmons and the Titans amid all the mostly speculative rumors around him. You can get the Titans J.C. Latham rookie jersey over at chatsports.com/Latham. Obviously, Titans OTA is kind of still going on. Sounds like it's been a good offseason for Latham. That's a big deal. Titans need him to be great. You can get the rookie left tackle jersey at chatsports.com/Latham. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. Number 2 on the safety target list is Quandre Diggs. Now, Diggs can kind of do some nickel stuff if you had to. And I think to an extent, he did get unfairly blamed for other issues in a shaky Seahawks secondary last season. But it is a slight red flag when the tackle numbers jump a little bit. I think Diggs wants to be a starter. You see the regression in the interception numbers. Sometimes tackle numbers are higher than what you want in the safety, but that defense just kind of struggled last year. Kind of had a career revitalization when he went from the Lions to Seattle. I don't really know how much more he has left in the tank, if we're being honest. I think maybe a year or two left. But if he's your number 3 safety, I think that's a good thing. Now, is Diggs willing to be a number 3? I think that's a very fair question to have. I think that'd be a really solid veteran pickup for the Tennessee Titans. Number 3 on my list is Eddie Jackson, the former Bears safety. For almost everybody on the list, there's a pretty good reason why they're unsigned in June. They're not the same player they were in their prime in most cases, and that's the case with Eddie Jackson. At one point, he was one of the best safeties in football. Remember that 2018 campaign when he had 2 pick-sixes and picked off 6 passes, a first-team All-Pro? He has had 5 interceptions combined over the past 4 seasons. He's missed some time with injuries. He's missed time at least the last 3 seasons as well. The play's kind of not been the same. The tackles, by the way, have really fallen off, which is just he wasn't getting the same run he was previously. But he can do some split safety stuff. He can be a vet mentor to a group that is fairly young overall in the back end. At least worth having a conversation. Plus, he is a bit of a household name. For Titans coverage all year long, we still have you guys covered here on Titans Today. I'm doing my damnedest to keep getting videos for you guys. I canceled NFL Live to get a full video for the Titans Today. So hit that sub button, youtube.com/Titans Today. More veteran safeties on this list. Number 4 is Micah Hyde of the Buffalo Bills. Now, he might not play football this year. And he's also made comments. He wants to play one more year with the Bills. He'd be higher on my list if it wasn't the vibe I get is maybe it's Buffalo or retirement for Micah Hyde. He is getting up there in age. But he still, I thought, played pretty well back in 2023. Again, not the same guy he was in his best season back in 2021. But he does offer strong free safety flexibility. If he's your number 3, I think that's a really good number 3 safety. The issue for Micah Hyde, we can be honest here, Tennessee might not be viewed by him as a full-on contender. Is he willing to take a backup role? Or at least a hybrid role? We'll see. Number 5, Tracy Walker of most recently, I should say, of the Detroit Lions. He's on the right side of 30. Not everyone on this list is. Several seasons he had with 100-plus tackles, but he hasn't played very much the past couple years. Again, seems to be kind of a consistent message. Now, games played is still high. Starts are down. He started just 9 games over the past season. He's kind of a rotational piece with 6 starts this past season. Still put up 59 tackles. Has never been a big interception machine, 3 in his career, and all 3 of those came in his first 4 years, just 1 in the last 3 years most recently. I think as a number 3 safety, though, he's shown he is willing and able to handle that role. Further down on my list is probably one of the bigger names on here, and that is Jamal Adams. The reason why I put him at 6 and not higher up on the list, I don't think he's a great fit. The Jamal Adams role, I think, is going to be kind of a box safety linebacker hybrid. You just drafted James Williams, who I think fits the exact same role. Adams, who was once blitz boy, didn't get to blitz much the past few years in Seattle, and his play fell off. And I think the injuries have added up there. The Ravens did bring him in for a visit. We'll see if that materializes later. Big name, bad trade for Seattle. I'd be fine to add him, but I think the James Williams role is the Jamal Adams role. So pick a former Seahawks safety. Funny how there are 2 names on this list. QD for Quandre Diggs. JA for Jamal Adams. Is worth mentioning, Dennard Wilson, the Titans DC, came over from the Ravens. Their DC, Mike McDonald, is the Seattle head coach. Passed on both of those guys sticking around on the roster. rapid fire here on some other free agent safeties. Maybe these guys can be like your number 4 special teamer, but they're getting up there in age. Rudy Ford, Adrian Amos. I thought J-Ron Curse was terrible last year in Dallas, by the way. Adrian Phillips, Kareem Jackson, Tashawn Gibson. John Johnson at one point got a pretty big contract to leave the Rams, and he kind of quickly fell off, by the way. One dark horse name. He is getting up there in age, but that's Jalen Mills. Remember, Jalen Mills spent the 2016 to 2020 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. If you go back and rewind the clock to Dennard Wilson, the current Titans defensive coordinator, he joined Philadelphia after Jalen Mills left. But there would, in theory, be enough of the connection, the familiarity there that I wanted to, or not familiarity, but knowledge of other coaching staffs and like, hey, they'd be able to check in with buddies and you probably get a good feel for Jalen Mills. I'll also mention the 2 all-UFL safeties this past year. First up is A.J. Thomas of the Birmingham Stallions. We'll kind of go in reverse order here. A.J. Thomas played for Western Michigan, briefly was with the Chicago Bears as an undrafted free agent. And you're going, wait, Kai Nakua, why do I know that name? You probably recognize the last name. It's Puka Nakua's brother, which I think is worth mentioning. He's been kind of a journeyman safety over his NFL career. Browns, Ravens, Panthers, Colts, Niners, Jets, and then most recently with the Michigan Panthers, led the UFL in interceptions. That's the type of guys you should consider bringing in for training camp purposes.